Hello everyone, welcome back to the last video in car drawings 2. So in today's video we'll be creating the front wheel configuration, also the rear wheel configuration, and just like the last video, right, we're gonna basically create one sheet and then maybe copy that and change the reference for the views to the rear configuration, right? It's a bit of a shortcut. And it's probably the most efficient way to go about doing this. So we're gonna build the front wheel configuration. It's pretty straightforward. Again, this video shouldn't be too bad. Also, there's a rear wheel configuration, which again incorporates the hub. So when we assemble this, it's the hub is incorporated in the actual rear wheel. So this might be a bit more, actually it's really not that complex. It's just adding notes and configuring and adding the dimensions for the hub with respect to the actual rear wheel configuration. So let's jump right in. Again, I have my wheels part file open. So that's the rear configuration. As if you guys remember, it incorporates the hub. And if I go to my different configurations, if I go to my front, right, it's just a pretty straightforward part. So that will lead us to have a pretty straightforward drawing, right? There's not much to show. So let's jump right in. I'm gonna go to File, New. Again, it takes me, so it remembers whatever template I used last, in this case, since we just created the wheel mounts. The MCC ENR drawing template is automatically selected, and my templates, if you're somewhere here and if you don't have this template added, again, you can just go to and watch the my template video in car drawings 1, and that should include if for some reason you don't have the template created, please go back and create the template before you move on with any of these drawing videos, because you actually have to utilize that template to create all these part file drawings. So let's jump right in. I have my MCC ENR drawing. I'm gonna click OK. Again, my model view automatically selects the wheels because actually that part is open. If for some reason you don't have it open and you just went and started with a new drawing, you can hit browse and just go to the file location of where that wheel part file is saved. Again, so I already have it loaded. So I'm just gonna go in and go to my view palette, go to my wheels. And in this case, I have this right, the top, and then isometric. So I want to make sure that if I do the rear, so we have the wrong one here. So let me do that. Let me go to because I actually want, in this case, if I actually want to show the hub in this isometric view, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just toggle a different projected view. So if I go to my view layout, projected view from this view, and it would be, so let's see, in this case, would it be, so that's a bit tricky now. Let's see, maybe this one is not the best. Actually, let's look at it. So I have isometric, my right, if I pull in my left, right, and if I do that, and if I change that to the rear, I'm basically just playing around right now. Okay, so this is what I want to do. If I delete all of this and start fresh, and if you didn't follow along, that's okay. Since I don't remember what plane I used to create this part, I believe the best way to do this is if I pull in my left, I can just pull in my top, and my isometric view. And the reason I do this is because in this case, if I do the rear, it actually shows where I want the hub to be shown on this side and not the opposite side. And you can argue that, okay, in the front configuration, it really doesn't matter, right? It's a symmetrical part, and you're absolutely right. But again, going back to creating a shortcut, right? When I copy this drawing and paste it, or basically duplicate it, I don't want to go ahead and change views again. You can, again, depending on if you actually were going to go back and create that again, that's fine, right? The way you could have started with the right view, and that would have gave you this similar results, although you would have had to utilize a different view. But in this case, I want to basically just go in and just change this reference to front or rear without having to add or remove any views. So in this case, these are the 3 views I need. Let's remove this center mark for now. Let's go ahead and actually go to properties and change our scale. So my scale is 3:2. Apply changes. Again, since I'm doing this on my laptop, the drawing template is there, but it just is not able to locate it, even though it knows where it is. It's a bit weird. If I cancel, it actually updates it, and it's perfectly correct. Again, it's a pretty straight forward drawing, right? I have my just three views. I have my top, or my right and top. There's really not much I need to show on my left because it's going to be the same as my top, right? It's a circular part. Again, it's pretty straightforward part. So let's go ahead and again, I want to add a center mark here. Maybe I'll keep the extended lines for this case. Again, it pulls in the description and the author because those are auto-populated because the description and author are filled in the part file. So let's go click check. Again, let's do smart dimensions. I'm gonna dimension my overall diameter, which is 2.375, and my overall thickness, which is 0.480. Again, there really isn't much to this drawing. And then 0.257 diameter. This all just like last time, right? I mean, these are the main dimensions I need. This is in the center, so I don't need to add any dimensions. I'm gonna add a note that calls out that this is the front wheel configuration. Let me just select all of that and maybe change it. Go to 24. Maybe 22. This is more of a preference thing. Again, I'm gonna escape because I want it to be only shown there and not be linked to an edge. So actually, let me go back in and make that bold. So my front wheel configuration. Also want to add a note. Again, going back to my drawing, that says it's a 132 by 132 chamfer all edges. Again, for stuff like that, if it's a circular part, you might want to add a note to make sure whoever's creating this part, it's easy to read. I'm gonna throw in another note here, and I'm just gonna 132 by 132 chamfer all edges. Perfect. Let's select this. all of that. Maybe go to 20, make that bold. Again, I don't want to select add it anywhere, or although you can argue that, okay, maybe I want to add a note here that says, okay, these are where the chamfer are going. But again, we specify that all the edges are chamfered, right? So you don't want to add it in 4 different places. You're basically saying any edge is chamfered. Again, keeping your drawing neat, that's the main purpose, right? And communicating all the dimensions that you want to communicate. Maybe just center this somewhere here. Perfect, so we are done with our front wheel configuration. Again, just like last time, so I'm gonna rename this front, and I'm gonna copy my front, right? Everything, I want to copy everything. Gonna paste after selected sheet, right? I don't want it before because I want my front one to be the main one. So right here, I have my front 2. In this case, it's really not my front 2. Since it's a copy, that's an automated generated name. So this one is going to be the rear one. And since this is active, again, just changing some things around, right? Changing the front. Now it's rear. Changing all of these to reference the rear. I don't want this shown. Rear. Let's delete that because I want to dimension it a different way now. Let's delete this. This is also my rear. You might want to argue that we should use hidden line visible to show that this is a through all. Same thing here, right? That this is going through all. I don't want this to show it, so I'm just gonna do, I don't want it to use the parent, right? This is connected to that one, so I want this to show hidden lines removed. Again, this turns green because it was linked to the actual front configuration. So let's go ahead and actually just replicate these dimensions. Again, pretty straightforward. Smart dimensions. So I have this dimension 0.855. I'm gonna add this dimension 0.480, and also this dimension 0.375. You might want to argue that the best way to do this is that. Just keep it neat, or maybe move these a bit in so we're not overlapping with our boundary. Let's add some center marks, right? So I want one here. Maybe in this case we really don't want here. Let's do smart dimensions. Add that half an inch. And then add, right, selecting that first edge and going up here, adding that 0.160. Again, in this rear one, I'm just gonna dimension it that this is my overall diameter, right? Because I don't want this to get too crowded with the actual hub included, right? It's adding more space. With the front configuration, we didn't have that in there, so we had more space to throw in dimensions on that top view. I also want to show the diameter of the hub, which is 1 inch, and maybe the diameter of this hole, right? 0.36. Well, actually, let's delete that and let's do let's go to view layout. Sorry, let's do hole call out for that one, just so it calls it out exactly what it is. 0.36 through all hole. I also want to call out this hole, right? It's 0.136 through all with an 832 thread. I also want to add a note, right, as shown in this drawing. I want to add a note that the 832 thread must fully clear center of 0.238 hole. So let's go to note. And this is where actually we want to select where we want that node to be related to. Again, so select that leader. Maybe throw it up here. Node. Number 832 thread must, let's hit enter, fully clear center of 0.238 hole. Beauty. So we can, again, you can move this around if you really want it to match the template, but you don't have to, as long as you communicate all of what's needed. Let's go to zoom extent. So I have my rear wheel configuration. I believe I have all the required dimensions. I have the 2 hole callouts, the diameters for both the hub and the wheel. I call out that it's a 132 by 132 chamfer on all edges. Again, it's easier to do this than to point out where all those, right? Because in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not adding a chamfer here, because for machining purpose, that's just going to make it harder. We really don't need a chamfer there. Going back to my front, it's all set, right? The front wheel configuration is a pretty straightforward drawing. We basically call the diameter and the depth, and the through hole in the center. Let's go to the rear. It's more incorporates the hub, so it's a bit more complicated, but at the same time, it's really not that complicated. And we're all set. So again, file, let's save as. I already have this file saved, so I'm gonna skip this step. But if you go to file, save as, you save it where you want that drawing to be saved. And we're gonna go to publish the e-drawings. It takes a bit, right? It's generating an e-drawing file, and that's what you want to do. Perfect. So it's generating our 2 different views. If I go to sheet and I have my rear, has all the drawings. And again, I want to file, save as this, and the same folder as your drawing file. I already have this saved, so I'm not going to save that. And we're all set. So thank you for watching.